It's getting cold again in Montana. It's the end of October and our water troughs up by the animals had about 1/4 inch of solid ice on it this morning. And guess what? Well, the heater in our Model 3 is not working. This really sucks. Yep, the heater failed. It sucks. And well, we got to replace it. I talked to the mobile technician and I asked him if it's the fuse or the heater. He said he always had to replace heaters and never had to replace a fuse. I did a little research. I found someone that actually made a video about how to replace the heater in a 2018 Model 3. It was even blue, just like ours. And he ended up taking it to Tesla, and Tesla replaced the heater and the fuse. So the heater sits down under here, in there, behind all this stuff. That's where pretty much all the climate control sits. The fuse is in the penthouse, which is this thing right here. This big old silver cover would have to come off to gain access to the fuses, as far as I can tell, which means these black crossbars have to come off. A lot of work to get to the fuse, kinda. Not necessarily a lot of work, just a lot of disassembly, reassembly. So right now the car is basically ready for me to dig in and replace the heater. I ordered one off eBay. It's not the perfect heater. It's the only one I could get though at an affordable price. So yeah, you gotta power down the car completely. So that means run the windows down, open all the doors, open the front, open the trunk if you need to, right? So that you have access, because once it's powered down, none of the functions will work. Powering down, look in the service manual, but pretty much you remove this panel right here so you can get to the battery. You disconnect the battery, and then in the back under the seat you also disconnect the low voltage control plug, which is this one right here, this thing right there. So you got to disconnect it, and when you disconnect this plug you'll hear a big old clunk, and that is the contactors disconnecting. And now it's powered down. There's no more 12 volt to the car, there's no more high voltage to the car, and it's basically safe to work on. Tesla has a high voltage safety procedure that you should do according to the manual, which means you would get under here, I believe, and remove this orange cover there. And there's a couple holes, and then you could get in with a multimeter and verify that it's shut down. But the big old clunks are pretty much a verification of that. Also, I do not have this. This is a E10 5-lobe Torx, some weird thing that I don't have, so I cannot verify it like that. But we're not really touching anything inside the battery. We're going to be outside the battery, so it shouldn't be a problem. We're not taking this penthouse cover off back there. So what I had to do is get under here. I did that earlier, and remove the cover. This is this cover here, and you can see how much dirt is on it. This is super heavy right now. I would say this is probably at least 5 pounds right now. And this is just a fabric type cover, so that shouldn't be very heavy. So I left all the dirt on it, and I'm gonna see if I can figure out how much dirt we actually have on here in weight. But I would say we probably have about, I would guess it's 5 pounds right now. So yeah, pretty heavy. This cover comes off real easy. There's just a bunch of bolts, 10mm heads. And yeah, you have to get under the car. That cover is under here. And if you have an all-wheel drive like we do, obviously once you take that cover off, you look at the motor. If you have a rear-wheel drive, then you're really lucky, because then there is a big hole under there. So this cover gets you access to under there, or down in here. And we need that to get to the plugs for the heater. Yeah, the all-wheel drive a little more difficult. rear wheel drive will be much easier to do in regards to that. But basically I'm kind of ready to tear more apart right now. I also took the floor mats out because we got to take these panels off here. There's a panel up here that needs to come off. Very similar as if we would replace the air cleaners. They're right in that area as well. So also it talks about removing the knee airbag, but I'm pretty sure we can get around that and leave that in there. Don't have to do that, I'm pretty sure. We have to take the same cover off over on the driver's side to access some screws. And I believe there's a 12-volt plug in here. The 110 plug is outside. That's why we need to get to it from the outside. And if you're looking for exact instructions, go look in the Tesla service manual. And there you get to see everything in detail, what to do and how to do. So, all right. But yeah, it's powered down. So now I got to tear into it a little bit more, then lift it back up. And once I'm under there, I'm going to show you the plugs, where to disconnect them, and then we'll see how that looks in here when we got to get the heater out. To pull these panels here, it says to start on the back end with the clips on the back and work your way forward, but they're basically, they just pull off, so no big deal. The other panel that's from the bottom up, I think has 1 or 2 screws. No big deal either. Everything is detailed in the service manual. So, but at this point, yeah, we need to get heat back in here because it is cold these days here in Montana and we need a heater. This here is on the driver's side. So right there is that 12-volt plug, which is now, where is it laying here? Right there. So there's this little gray tab here. You got to pull it back, and then you can just kind of lightly press on it as you pull the plug out to release it. And then there's 1 and 2 screws. There's these here 8mm head screws, and I just used a ratchet to get those out. It's a little tight back here because of the carpet there, but it works just fine. If you have them like halfway or so out, you can actually turn them by hand. Now let's go over to the passenger side. So here we got a whole bunch of things going on. So there was the little ground strap right here with a 10mm nut. Then we got these here, these little clippy things. They actually just push on here. They're just like this. You just kind of pull them off. There's 3 of them here, it looks like. And then it goes up there. It goes behind this panel. So we need to take this panel down, which is up here. This is the light. This is a speaker. I'm not sure if I'm going to leave this here. I probably will be unplugging the light and the speaker to get it out of the way, because our heater is right here. This is the whole thing that needs to come out. So if this is out of the way, it's probably a little bit easier. This panel only had push pins. I thought it had a couple screws. So you pull this part here out, and then you can pull the whole thing out. And to do so, I used this tool right here. So you can just get under the little head and push it and pull it out. And then you get under the big one and pull the whole thing out. And sometimes these come apart, no big deal here. Then that's how it looks like. Where's the other side? Here we go. Here's the other end. You just push them back together. So you can actually push this when you assemble it, push this in, obviously this way, and then you take this part and you look at it's got a little pattern there, and you just push that back in, and that will secure it. I think there was about 5 of those around, plus a couple little hookies like this. And so you pull it down in the front and then pull it towards you, and then it comes down like this. Pretty simple. So that gives us access up there, back behind there. Oh, it's pretty dark. There we go. There's the rubber grommet that goes through the firewall, and on the outside there, well, about another foot or 18 inches away is the plug. And so we need to bring this whole thing in here. Now I got the 4 screws out holding the heater up. It's right here now. So then it just drops down. We still have this plugged in. It's still going through there. And this here is the 12-volt plug that was on the other side. I just pulled it across so it's out of the way. And Well, here the screws, again, it was a little tricky right here, but just did it with the ratchet again. And so now it dropped down, and now we come to the tricky part on these early Model 3s. I believe the later Model 3s actually have a service access here already. But here, there's some instructions on how to cut this out so we can actually get the heater out. So when they assemble that at the factory, this whole HVAC assembly is complete and this is in, so they can just push it in from the bottom or the top or however they had that assembly, and then they stick the assembly in the car. But now that's in the car, the floor is in the way for it to drop all the way out, so we got to open up this. And as far as I know, the later models have this open. There's a service access somehow, so easier to replace. For us now, I gotta look into the service manual again, but I'm pretty sure we're cutting right in between here with like a box cutter or something. Cut this open and then get this module out of here. And I still have to unplug it underneath and feed it, pull the grommet out and feed it through here. So, well, I'm gonna check the service manual and get the cutting on this. Here we go. So I use this knife here and I put a new blade in so it has a really sharp tip and a good sharp edge. And then this is the piece here, which it's really easy to cut along these edges. The tough part is down here. You can see that it's a little thicker there, but you can cut through it, it works. So, and then this is how this looks here. And I thought I'm gonna cut in between those two. You can see there's two. That's not the case. You cut on the inside of it, okay? It clearly says to cut on the inside, not in between the two. So make sure you only cut the inside. And now this basically, yeah, this should fit out of here. Gotta lift it up to get over the carpet, I guess. Well, but then that might be too high up there, so I may have to remove this carpet anyway. It says in the service instructions that we have to pull these pins here. I thought there's another one somewhere. Don't remember, but so we need to get over the lip here, but up here we're pretty close right there, so I don't know that I can lift it up much, but it should come out this way now. Still have not unplugged this, by the way, so still got to deal with that. Got to lift the car up again, get under there, unplug it, and get it through here. But basically, even with this plugged in, I probably can get this out of here right now. So I'll try that. And yes, this here really can't be, well, this here can't be put back, obviously. You could glue it in there, I guess. But there's a service kit that allows, I don't know if there's a new piece or what it is exactly, actually. So, but there's a piece, a service kit, they call it, that goes there that you can purchase from Tesla to do. So, but I don't have this kit at this point. At this point, I need to get this other heater in and see if it even works. Because you never know, you buy a used one on eBay, there's no guarantee that it actually works. This is a bigger ordeal than I thought it would be, but it's not too bad. So let's start here. This cover right there, you gotta peel it off so that you then can peel this cover off, which just pulls on the bottom and comes out like this. And that will reveal a push pin that's right there. And attached there is this right here. This is like the door sill kind of deal right here, and it goes in there. So that's attached. So then you can get this out. And then also when you take this out, you'll see there's another push pin that's down in there holding the carpet. There's a push pin that I already pointed out earlier down there. And then it says just fold this down. So I was trying to fold this back, but these top edges here actually hit. And the airbag's still in, and that's the airbag on the there. So what I did instead, you can see this here. So I made this, and I just kind of pulled it up, got my arm under in there, pulled it up here. This brought this panel down like this, and then I was able to fold it over. So now I can fold this over, and I should be able, there we go. Now I have clearance here to slide this heater out, I guess. So this should just come out. I'm not sure if I have enough Oh yeah, I got enough cable. Here it is. Out we have it. There. All I need to do is still this high voltage cable here. Orange is always high voltage, so I gotta get under the car, unplug it, and pull it through that grommet. So it's really not too bad, especially if you would have to do it a few times. This becomes super easy and quick. So okay, for me, definitely time to get working on this cable here, get this unplugged and through here, so then I can compare the old and new to me heater, which is used, and if they match up and are decent, if the new one looks okay, then I gotta push it back in, plug it in, and see if it works. And I'll do that before I completely reassemble everything, because it's a lot of work to completely reassemble just to find out that it doesn't work. So actually I might just even cheat and just kind of set it here and just hold it away so that when it gets hot, that nothing happens. But plug it in and see if it works, and if it does, whew, then I'm happy. Then I can install it and button everything up. This is how this looks under here. So here we got the drive unit. This is the firewall. And then there is these two orange plugs, one there, one here. And battery cables coming from here. Well, this is the battery pack. So they're coming out of there, and then they go up and up and up, and they both go up there, and you got to trace it. And I don't know if you will be able to see that. Probably not. It's too tight and dark up there. But somewhere up there you can see the grommet. So if you actually pull the grommet in from the inside, it may be a little bit easier to see. And then we got these big old plugs here. And which one was mine? I think this one here. I think this one here is the one I need to disconnect. And you can see there's this little plug on there, and these tiny wires. And those is that's the interlock circuit. So as soon as you disconnect one of these two plugs, it will open up the contactors, and there's no longer any high voltage. So that is for safety, in case you haven't done the shutdown procedure. This will definitely shut it down, but they're basically here in case there is a problem, an issue, an accident or something. And so that's to prevent any accidents, and both of those plugs have this little plug on there. And so if you unplug the little plug or unplug the big plug, that opens up the interlock circuit, and the contactors will shut down, and then there's no longer any high voltage. Now these here, well, in our case, we got a little dirt up in here, and so they're kind of hard to disconnect. There's this red little tab right there that I can't even pull it by hand, so I gotta put like a screwdriver or something on it and see that I can pull it down. And then once I got it down, I can actually get in there, press the tab to release the plug and separate it. But since this is facing up the way it is, dirt got in there, and that may require some wiggling and pulling, and may not be too easy to do. Also, I took them off. Not sure if I can show you that. Up in there. Yeah, it's kind of hard to see, but up in there, there's a couple brackets that those plugs slide onto. You can see on the plug right there, right up. The upper part right there, that is what slides onto those little brackets holding the plugs onto the firewall. So you want to get them off there so you can bring them out and down to make it easier to disconnect. And then obviously the wiring is attached here in places, so you got to undo those as well to get this all out. So, well, that's my next task. So you can see I got the lines off. Those are these little clips here, and the interlock circuit has these clips here, and there's I think like 3 of them for the orange high voltage cable. But you see the stud right there. There is another one up there. So, and there's another one over there. So that's where these here are just pushed on. So you can either use a pretty hefty screwdriver and just kind of squeeze in between and pry them off, or you can see if that same tool here that works for some of the pins on the interior, that may work as well. So between that tool and the screwdriver, I was able to get it off. So now here, it's a little hard to show. You can see that red is pulled out. I got this out. This is the lock that locks this orange little lever there. And let me show you on this one. So here you can see the red is all the way in, so that orange lever is locked. Here it's out, so now I can press the orange lever, and then I should be able to separate those two. Then I still gotta work on that one. That interlock connector is a struggle. Well, so was this one. Once it's unlocked and partially out, it's not, it's still hard. And I had to kind of push in with a screwdriver and kind of pry a little bit, but eventually got this apart. Then the interlock connector here. So there's this red up here, and it's kind of hard to see, but it's held in place on the left and right there with these little black plastic pieces. And if you look down in from the bottom there, you can, towards the top, you can see this little bit of red. So basically we need to push this up, but it's held in place up here. And as I was trying to undo this, actually the head broke off. So I can push this red piece back down, which will lock it on, but the red piece itself won't be locked anymore after that. Basically, if this will come undone, then the interlock circuit would open and the car would shut down. So, but I'm pretty sure this will stay. I could probably put some tape around it or something to possibly prevent that from coming up. But, well, there's not much I can do at this point. So yeah, and this goes into the back here, which you can see the two little pins in the center, which then on the other side, same thing. You got the two big ones and the two little ones down in there in the center. So that makes the connection. And if that connection is broken, either by unplugging this or unplugging that, everything will shut down. That opens up the high voltage circuit and the contactors will open. So now we got this here, and this goes up there, and you may be able to see a little bit of light up there. I pulled the grommet out from the inside, so I should be able to basically feed this up or pull it up or pull and feed, whatever, and get it out. Here it is. It's this one, the nice looking one. Look how trash this looks. It's damaged there. The plug's ripped here. This plug, they ripped it apart. I mean, and they broke that ear off. It's just when you buy on eBay, all these places that sell Tesla parts, they just rip this stuff apart. They don't take it apart nicely. I'm sure this heater could look exactly like this one if it would have been taken apart the way it was supposed to, and it probably would have been easier and faster to take it apart the right way. So you can see here, these plugs are perfect, obviously. Well, this one's damaged and that ear is broken off. I don't think I can change that over though. So I have to look at these things. I'm not even 100% positive what's broken here. We can see here, it looks like it's separated right there. So one side will be driver, one will be passenger. And I had a code when I looked under the service, when I went into the service thing, the service setting, and it talked about only one side, I believe right side. I don't remember now. But anyway, so I even found that someone said Tesla could use their laptop with Toolbox on it and actually make the heater partially work so if one side would be bad, they could disable the bad side probably and just use the other side, but not use split mode anymore, I guess. So you could just have the same temperature for passenger and driver, I guess. But anyway, we got this out. Now what you see here, you can see that, and here is this, and this is a seal ring, and this is supposed to come off. Yep, there we go. I need two hands to do that, but this needs to come off here, go on there, and then we can install this one. And I'm gonna see, I'm not sure. Nah, it doesn't look like. I was hoping possibly this plug here, this plastic piece, could be opened completely without routing the wires through so that I could have used this over here and put it there, but doesn't look like it, unfortunately. Well, this here is $200 some. From Tesla it's $550, so I'm hoping this here works. It's got the clips on it, it's got the grommet on it, so, and then here we do have that same plug with the little plug on the back. So basically I'm gonna install this, gonna route this through to the front, plug this in. I'm gonna plug this in, and before I even put this probably in the hole, I don't know, right now it's pretty easy to put in, but I need to test it and make sure this thing actually works and produces heat before I button everything up after that. So that means I install this, plug this, well, plug this in, plug that in, just kind of slide this in, and then I have to power up the car and see if it works. And sure enough, this eBay bought heater, well, it looks like junk, it is junk. So as I mentioned before, you're never sure when you purchase on eBay something used like this, if it really is good or not. This one was advertised to be a good part, basically as a part, not as a not to be used as pieces or whatever for repair, something like that. It was really advertised as a heater, and so I thought it would be working, but well, I struggled to get it in there. I slid it in from the side, I did slide it up, and it went up all the way on one side, but not the other. On the other side, it stayed down about a 1/4 inch. And I was totally weird. I didn't know why until I pulled it back out and really compared it to the one that I took out. And then I noticed that heater was out of square, as you can see in the pictures. So it was about a 1/4 inch out of square, so the heater would not fit into the housing, and bending it back probably wasn't an option. It didn't look like it bends real easy. So I think they just forced this heater to come out of the vehicle that they had, whatever they did. I don't know, maybe they dropped it, but it didn't go in there. Now, the next issue was without the heater in there, the high voltage system doesn't power up, because remember the little tiny wires, the interlock loop, well, that loop is open, and so now the high voltage system doesn't power up, and it does not maintain the low voltage battery. Then the battery goes dead, and then I probably need a new battery. So what I did, I hooked this one up. Since I had it laying in there already, I thought I'd just hook it up for right now, and so that the high voltage system can power up and it maintains the battery. And guess what? It turns out it had another fault. It would not power up the high voltage system. It showed that it had basically it has a high resistance to ground. It was not isolated properly, that heater. There was something else going on, that it basically had a leak from the high voltage side to the ground somewhere. So again, this heater was just junk, so I couldn't use it at all, and now my low voltage battery was about to die. I would have had to put a battery charger on it or maintainer on it and leave it on all the time, but where I parked the Model 3 there was no power, so that was not really an option either. So I ended up putting my old one, the one that I took out, basically I sat it back in there on the floor, hooked it up to the high voltage system and the interlock loop, so that this was all closed. And then the high voltage side would power back up. I would power the vehicle back up and leave it sit like that. And go ahead and order a brand new heater from Tesla, along with the service kit for the door. And that's where we keep going now. Got a brand new heater from Tesla. This is a brand spanking new heater core. That's why it looks so nice and shiny here. This is bright orange still. So not cheap, $550, but I guess it's the way to go. I also got this here. This is the little service kit. All it is basically a lid, since I had to cut this other piece out. So it at the top here it has this little tongue on it, so you can shove that in, and then down here there's a couple screws that need to go in there. But This way I don't have to reuse the piece that I cut out and put it on with adhesive or some other way to screw it on, or I don't know. So this makes it easy. And this is cheap. This is like $15. So this is not bad. Even if you don't get the heater from Tesla, you might want to consider getting this from Tesla. But both of these parts are available over the counter from Tesla. Anyone can buy those, so that's not a problem to get them. So now let's get that one installed, and well, then we should be in business. This here's the piece that I cut out. It's in there like this. So that's the bottom, that's the top, and that was right here. So you have to cut this out. You gotta leave this lip right here. I'm gonna see if I can get this. So this lip right here, this has to stay. You gotta cut inside that lip right there. So, and if you look at this, there we go. Oops, maybe I can get it on top of each other, maybe on the other side here. So there we go. This is quite a bit smaller than the new one, right here. So it's just that inside piece, and then the new one, this here's the bottom that slides into there. Okay, and we got to bring this out. This is the little nipple here that sticks out, where we then push I think the high voltage cable pushes on here with one of those or something. And then we have on top, we have these two for the screws, and I don't know if you can see that right there. There's one of them, and on the other side is the other one. So, and then this goes down here, if I can get that, goes in, and you can see this fits perfectly in there. And the service kit comes with the two screws that go up there, and that's it. That makes it super easy. I mean, there is a way to get the old piece in there. You know, you can use some adhesive or some screws from the side or something to hold it in place. I guess, I mean, in the worst case, you could even leave it out. There's a little gap down here that wouldn't be sealed. I mean, you could even put some silicone there. There's all kinds of stuff you could do, but this here is definitely the way to go. I mean, like I said, it's only like $15, so, and anyone can buy this from Tesla, and that would be the cleanest and best perfect solution. There we go. Just got to put the screws in, and then we got to hook up the high voltage here, and then we're in business shortly. Now I got everything hooked up, so I got the high voltage back going through the firewall there. There is the ground. Don't forget to hook that one up right there. And on the other side, here we have the low voltage connector right there going to the heater core, or to the heater. And we got the 4 bolts back in. And don't forget, there's this ring here, this rectangular seal ring that goes in there. Don't forget to take that off the old one and put it on the new one. And then underneath, here we have our high voltage connection. Right here is the brand new cable, plugs in there, and the interlock hooks up right there. So make sure you get those all in, and like push this red thing back down in there, this lock, so this plug can come undone. I still have to attach them here. These little things still push over the bolts that are up there. But right now it's hooked up, and I can power up the vehicle and see if it works. I gotta hook up the ground to the battery. Right there. There we go. And tighten this nut. Yeah, it's a little tough to do with just one hand here. There we go. Okay, that's hooked up. Now we gotta go under the back seat. So remember, important, leave all your doors open because they don't work when you power down the vehicle. So we're on the passenger side here. We got the low voltage connection to the penthouse, and that goes on, and this comes up. And then we heard the clunk, and that means the high voltage connectors, the contactors closed. That's a good thing. This goes over here, and we'll put the seat back in later. And it is powering up here. We'll wait for the power up to go through, and then we can see if the heater works, I think. Powered back up. I did power it down in service mode. I want to go see here something real quick. No, where was it here? There we go. Okay. So this is the low voltage loop here, and there it shows the battery green, and that is what I wanted to see here. My battery, well, it's been getting discharged and I had to charge it up, but now it shows green. It had a fault earlier still before I powered it down, but now we can see everything's good, everything's green, and the battery is getting charged from, the low voltage battery is getting charged from the high voltage battery. Now, let's see here. Okay, well, it looks good. No faults or anything. So we should be all right. Now let's see. So here we got the high voltage system. Everything shows green. Contactors closed. So everything is good here. And that's, by the way, health test. That's where you can do a battery health test. But don't do that very often, if at all. So, whoa, I can feel warm wherever it's coming out, probably up at the windshield. Let's see here. Take the auto off. I need it here. Can we feel it? I can feel warm. It's coming up here. Yep, we got warm. All right, all right. So that looks all good. There's those alerts to check while we're in here, maybe. Where are these alerts again? There's always service alerts. What? Cam self call issue. What? Don't know what the hell. PTC version mismatch. Okay, I can see that. So we got heat, but the PTC, that's the heater. And it says a version mismatch, which we probably have to do a software reinstall. So the gateway, the vehicle gateway detects a positive temperature coefficient, PTC. Heater electronic control unit, ECU, running a firmware version that may not be compatible with the firmware installed on the rest of the vehicle. May occur after an unsuccessful or incomplete vehicle firmware update, and may be resolved through a successful vehicle firmware update. Okay, so don't do a firmware update, do a software update first. Reinstall the software. That usually, I'm not sure if this is gonna work here. First of all, we got heat, so it works. Maybe I don't have all the functions and don't know that yet, but all I'm going to do is a software reinstall. And to make sure that this functions properly, I'd like to have the car connected to Wi-Fi, which I still have to set up. I think I'm too far away from, it shows Wi-Fi up there, but I think I'm too far away to successfully download and get that connection going, because as far as I know, this is a request from the mothership. So the car will request that from Tesla. Tesla will say yes, and then it will reinstall, and usually that will pair a new ECU, any control unit that you put in. Most of those are paired just with a software reinstall, and not with a full firmware update for like the car. So, and we can also request that software update in here somehow. Now let's see, where was it? Software reinstall, right there. Okay, software reinstall should only be used if a CAN ECU has been replaced. That means CAN is the CAN bus, that's the communication, and that's what we have replaced, the heater. Do not use following a car computer replacement. So if you replace the main computer, that's a different story. That's when you gotta get a toolbox out. Do not drive and do not reset the car computer or power down the vehicle until complete. Expected duration 5 to 10 minutes, and then you have the option to exit or reinstall. So I show some little itty bitty of reception up there. I'm gonna make sure that I have good enough reception here. I'm gonna see if I can actually use the Starlink Mini and provide good reception to the car here, and then go through this. I'm not 100% sure if I do need any reception at all, or if it actually takes the software just off what's on here right now. I don't know. If you know, leave a comment down below. Not sure, but as far as I know, it requests it from Tesla and then goes through, but maybe that has changed. So, well, I'm gonna get Wi-Fi going here just to be safe, and then I'm gonna hit this reinstall button. Okay, I made sure I'm connected to the Wi-Fi, and at least it shows one bar now up there. Before it didn't show a bar, but software reinstall here, and okay. Whoa, what the heck? That not sure. That went unusually quick here. That is interesting. Well, let's go see. Vehicle info over here, service alerts still here. Huh, that is not really software install. Okay. Maybe it's still going. I don't know. It should have stuck to this screen here for some time. And here it says updating electronic control units, so ECUs. Driving and charging disabled, do not drive until complete. Okay, well, we gotta wait now. It did complete the software update. Now it says service alerts 1. Huh. And there's that cam self call or call issue. Huh. Let's see what that. The autopilot electronic control unit detects the camera self-calibration process is not working as expected. Unexpected calibration values are received, which may indicate the camera is incorrectly mounted or improperly secured. I think I have an idea what causes this. Maybe it has something to do with the angle that the car is sitting at and the doors being open, blocking the cameras or something. I don't know, but we have it at a pretty steep angle, which may be unexpected. We'll figure it out later. The heater works, and now I got to button up the rest inside the car. So everything's hooked, but we got to put these panels on. And on the passenger side, here I got even more to do. So I gotta fold this back forward, get that panel on, get all this here back on all the way up there. So, and then I gotta put the back seat in nicely again, the way it goes. So, but it's blowing nice and warm now, so the heater is fixed, and that is a good thing. Now it's time to see how much weight we have on here, how much weight and dirt is on here. And I got a kitchen scale set up here. And now we went to 0.14. What the heck? What's going on here? Yep. Okay, 0 ounces. I put this bowl on top to give it a little more surface for this panel to rest on. So I gotta put that on, and then we'll see what it shows. Then I'll wash this off and we put it back on here, and then we really know. So I don't have a tripod right now, so you just gotta look kind of like this. All right, it's on there. Oh, I can't even see. What is it? 101 something there, and I think we're on ounces. 100 and I touched it, but about 102 ounces of weight here. And I'm gonna wash this, and then we'll go from there. All right, I'm back, got it clean, and let's see here. There we go, 0. Let's put it back on there. Here we go. Now what we got there? 67 ounces. So we came from 102 to 67 ounces. about 35 ounces difference. That's about 2.2 pounds in dirt just on this one here. There's another one in the back that's even larger, so we probably have another 2 or 3 pounds back there. So easily 5 pounds on the car just in dirt on top of these covers here. And I mean, we could also have dirt piled up in the wheel wells and stuff, so you can add on quite some weight just with driving up and down a dirt road here. But all right, well, let's put this cover back on and then we're done. Well, it's working again. We got heat, got everything reassembled. I guess I should get out of service mode here. Exit service mode. Oh, hello. Oh, there we go. All right, now it's out. All right, out of service mode, we're back to normal. And so heater is working again. Oh, it's off. Let's turn it back on. Bring this up here. Let's set the temperature. There we go. And let's set it to auto. All right, back in business. Heat's working. We got everything back together, which is just reverse order of taking apart. You may break some of these plastic clips or something. You can get some, maybe not the exact kind, but you can usually get them at other parts store or on online on Amazon or whatever. Or you can get some from Tesla if you take it apart first, and then you order your heater and your service kit there from Tesla. Then you can also order some of those clips if you broke any of them. But yeah, got it back together. Important here, when I looked on eBay to find a used heater, there were not many for the Model 3. There were many for Model S and X, but very few for the Model 3. And some of them said to be used for parts only, which means we don't know if they actually work or not. And then the one I ordered, it looked pretty bad. I mean, the plugs were broken off and stuff, but it didn't say for parts only. So I basically expected it at least to work, but then it turns out that's not the case. It does not work, or didn't work. It was bent, couldn't even get up in there, and when I plugged it in, I actually got a fault. So yeah, that didn't work out well. So I think if you have a Model S or a Model X, you can easily get a heater on eBay, probably pretty cheap. If you have a Model 3 or a Model Y, I guess. Did the Model Y ever come with a PTC heater? I'm not even sure. Don't remember now. If you know, leave a comment down below if the Model Y ever came with a PTC heater or if it just started coming with the heat pump. I don't remember, but definitely the Model 3 had PTC heater in the beginning, like ours. And it's best to get that one if it breaks from Tesla. Another thing is there is a fuse back there in the penthouse for it. It's a little tough to get to. And I found online something where someone actually replaced the heater and then it didn't work. He got one from eBay. And then he had a friend help him and they did some diagnostics, and I don't know, they couldn't really figure it out. Long story short, the vehicle ended up at Tesla. Tesla replaced the heater and the fuse. Me talking to the Tesla technician, he said he never had to replace a fuse. It was always the heater only. So with the Model S, it's usually a little bit different. Our Model S, 2013 Model S, had a bad, or had one day the heater didn't work and it had a bad fuse. The heater was good. I replaced the fuse for it, which is in a different location than on the Model 3, and it worked ever since. That's now 2 years ago or so. So different story there than the Model 3. So keep that in mind. You may want to consider a heater from Tesla, not from eBay, for a Model 3. But yeah, other success here. So it is really not that hard to repair your own electric vehicle. The high voltage is shut down. You're just disconnecting a plug. You cannot even touch the high voltage pins or anything. So it's really not like a danger. Not a big deal like many people make it sound like. And with access to this Tesla service manual, you can just follow the instructions right there. So pretty simple, step-by-step instructions. Also, you can order special tools. If whatever repair you do and you need special tools, Tesla has a list of tools online, and they have numbers, and you can click on those numbers and it takes you right to whoever sells those tools. In most cases, sometimes you just copy and paste the number and find it that way, whatever. But you can find most special tools needed for these repairs that you can actually do. Once you get into battery pack or into the drivetrain, into the motors, that's a different story. Tesla don't want you to play there. So there, it's a little bit tougher, but you can find a lot of information in the Tesla service manual. You can find a lot of special tools that you can actually get even for things like that. So yeah, there's a lot that can be done. Just follow the instructions, right? So, all right, well, like I said, another success. So we have more of those DIY videos where we install accessories, where I do repairs, and we have more coming. So check that out down below. Click on our icon there and subscribe to the channel and look at our videos. And you find DIY videos. There's a playlist for that. You find a whole bunch of other videos about traveling with an electric car, traveling in the wintertime with an electric car, which is still kind of a thing that most people think you can't do, but we've been driving electric since 2018 now, and really never had any issues. And all these EVs are getting better and going further and are less affected by the cold. Also, down below in the description, we got a whole list of stores, places you can get cool stuff from for your EV, accessories, parts, chargers, for your things for your cell phone, all kinds of different things down there, and they all have like a discount code. So go down there, use our discount code, use those links that are there, and well, that way you get a discount, and actually it gets us a little bit of a little tiny boost here and there. It helps out the channel a tiny bit if you use those, but we would appreciate that. That way we can actually keep going and make more videos about chargers, accessories, and so on, and show you all these things and show you how to install them as well. So that is one of the big things. We're not just showing off what it is and how it looks like, we're actually showing you how to install those things. So a lot of technical information available, but also a lot of basic info available, a lot of road trip videos available on our channel. So make sure you are subscribed, and please give us a thumbs up for this video, give us a thumbs up for every video of ours that you watch. Feel free to leave a comment on this video, on any of the other videos. Even if you just say hi, we like nice comments, you know, so a hi or a hello is totally fine. And you know, also share those videos. It just gets the YouTube algorithm going, and so we can tell people that EVs are actually great, EVs are easy to work on, EVs are easy to drive, EVs are easy to own. And that is basically the goal here. We want to really show that EVs are here to stay. So, all right, again, make sure you're subscribed, give us a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on our next video. In any event, thank you for watching. Goodbye.